Drop back. Pajot shot deflected right on, and Kochetkov gets a piece. Rebound and another save on Pajot as Kochetkov, as nimble as a cat, jumps on that one. Opportunity here as the Islanders work it in. Teeing it up is Punt. Rebounds available, and another save. Kochetkov sprawling with the right arm, takes it away from Horvat along the goal line. Burns tries to clear it. Hit his defensive partner Slayton, but it'll work out for Carolina. Aho sends it across. Robinson back to Aho. They score! Roll the highlight reel. Sebastian Aho from Eric Robinson. And with 15.1 left in the second, Merry Christmas. It's 4-0.
Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast, Caniacs. I'm Adam Gold, and thank you very much for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night, the last Tuesday night before the next Tuesday night before Christmas. This is the final week eve, if you will. We are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. If you need anything for the exterior of your home, and you don't call them, you have made a mistake. Don't say I didn't warn you. AluminumCompany.com. All right. We're going to start where everybody thinks we should start. 4-0 Hurricanes. Thank you to Pyotr Kochetkov. Can't say it enough. What you got tonight from Kochetkov was awesome. It was thorough. It was 60 minutes of no drop-off, no mistakes. I mean, there was a little weirdness, right? You had the play late on, I think it was Kyle McLean, where he comes all the way out, poke checks the puck away, and then, by the way, on the low, he kind of tripped McLean on the way back. It was typical Kochetkov. He did throw his stick at one point. Obviously, in trying to make a blocker save, I think he just lost his stick. But it looked like he threw it. I know Trip Tracy called it. Like, what is that, a javelin? But, man, he was good, and he was good early. Before the Hurricanes scored the first goal, he was good. Bo Horvat played a game that should have gotten at least a goal. He could have had a hat trick. 4 high-danger chances. I think all 4 of them were alone on the goalie. And he got nothing out of it. Nothing. Kochetkov was better than Bo Horvat tonight. Kochetkov was better than Anders Lee tonight, who had 2 high-danger chances. Now, again, this is just at 5-on-5. Islanders only had the 1 power play, right? Yeah. I think the Hurricanes had 2 power plays. The Islanders had 1. Carolina was 1 for 2. We'll talk about that goal, which, frankly, if you're looking for why the Islanders are under 500, there you go. But the Islanders had a couple of chances on their power play, but Kochetkov was up to it. But he was up to everything tonight. Saw the puck well. Think Carolina's defense needs a lot of credit for that. But let's dig in to Kochetkov. First, I'm going to give you some numbers, and then we will kind of dig into the psychology of all of it. Because, I mean, maybe I overthink everything, but I think the kid is definitely kind of wearing the responsibility. Not necessarily well, obviously, until tonight, but there's a lot being asked of him because no disrespect to Spencer Martin and Dustin Tokarski. Kochetkov's the only guy. He's the only one. The other 2 guys are minor leaguers. All right, so here's what you need to know about Kochetkov statistics-wise for tonight. 32 saves, okay, no big deal. 11 for 11 in high-danger opportunities. Again, 4 of them from Bo Horvat. And I think that was just at 5-on-5, although I don't think there was a high-danger chance on the Islanders' power play. I think there were a couple of halfway decent mid-chances, but nothing high dangers. So 11 for 11 in high-danger save opportunities. There were 8 rebound opportunities for the Islanders. Think about that. Kochetkov, who doesn't always locate the puck well, doesn't always scramble well. Had to deal with 8 rebound opportunities tonight. And the expected goals against for Kochetkov, 3.5. Goals on the board, bupkis. It's hard to like ignore data in this case, but if you just watched it without data, you went, oh, yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. Now, there were 3, I think, moments of good fortune for Kochetkov. But I don't know that he doesn't earn that good fortune by the way he played. So let's go back very earlier in the game. Casey Cizikas throws a pass across to Hudson Fasching. Fasching goes across the net, backhands it wide. I think he backhanded it wide. Kochetkov didn't get any. His pad didn't get it. His stick didn't get it. But he also made it more difficult for Fasching in that way because he was more patient. He wasn't lunging. He wasn't like flailing all over the place. He was solid, and he moved across, matched the speed of Fasching. It made it more difficult, and Fasching ultimately shoveled it wide of the net. That was the first opportunity that the Islanders had. It was early on, a 2-on-1 chance. Again, Carolina, I said after the first period, not sure Rod Brindamore's loving the first period because I think the Hurricanes allowed too much, and Rod alluded to this in the postgame. There was another Hudson Fasching try where he came in on the left side. Kochetkov went out for a poke check. He loves his poke checks, and he missed it, and Fasching went over the crossbar, substantially over the crossbar. Do you want to give Kochetkov? Again, he's already played. This was in the second period now, so he has already played well to the point where he might be in the Islanders' heads a little bit. Do you give him credit for Fasching essentially missing an empty net on the backhand again, going over the crossbar? I'm not going to stop you if you want to, because, again, I thought Kochetkov played really well, and he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And then Brock Nelson had a great chance with Kochetkov down and shot it wide. A little bit of good fortune, but the way Kochetkov played tonight, he earned his good fortune. And now to the psychology of all of it. And I know, first, he's such a popular player in the locker room. And I know how he energizes the crowd. Everybody wants him. There is nobody that doesn't want him to be good. I want him to be good. But if we were being honest, and if nothing else, I think this is an honest podcast, while I do occasionally, well, I shouldn't occasionally, monthly, get paid by the Hurricanes for intermissions and the network open and close. I think everybody understands that I look at this with a kind of a journalistic eye, even though I also wear a fan's hat. And I owe you honesty more than I owe a player or the team protection. And I don't think we have seen anything close to number one goalie material from Pyotr Kochetkov this year. There have been some very good games, no doubt about it. Game in Vegas, Kochetkov was great. Game here against Pittsburgh, Kochetkov was great. There have been some really good games. But even within some of those really good games, not necessarily those two, if I'm remembering correctly, there have been soft goals. Like, it would have been very Kochetkov-like, and it wouldn't have impeded the outcome here if Kochetkov allowed a soft third period goal. That would have been on brand. But you're not always going to be ahead by 4. And sometimes that soft goal comes in a 3-1 game, and it makes it 3-2, and it gives the other team life. And today there was none of that. There was 60 minutes of number one goaltending performance from Kochetkov. And I do believe that he is putting a lot of pressure on himself, much like Andrei Svechnikov puts a lot of pressure on himself to score goals, like Sebastian probably does the same thing to score goals and create offense. And sometimes, and Rod Brindamore doesn't like to admit this. He doesn't like it when I ask him this. I think in sports, you can try too hard. It's not about effort. You can try too hard to force offense. And when you do that, it really slows you down. Trying too hard means you're thinking, and thinking only hurts the ball club. That's what Crash Davis told us. So I think in a sport like hockey, where just like golf, right? The tension that you have in your body when you're trying to perform well, rather than relaxing and allowing yourself to perform well. If we have any good golfers out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? You need the freeness, you need the looseness of your swing. It's just like this in hockey. It's like it for a baseball hitter. The tension kills you. It saps your strength. And I think Kochetkov has been kind of wearing the responsibility, and not in a good way. And he's let himself down. I think there are times he's let his team down. And I pointed this out in the pregame show. There was a long time where Carolina was winning games because they were scoring 4 goals a night. Like for the first, I don't know, almost 20 games. They're averaging 4 goals a game. And Kochetkov had however many wins, 11 wins or whatever it was. And it was kind of masking the fact that he was giving up a soft goal almost every game. And he can't be great, and Carolina can't be great if your goaltender's giving up a chippy every night. And tonight he didn't do that. Look, he played well against Ottawa. We talked about it. What was it, last Tuesday? A week ago tonight, right? Was that a week ago tonight? I think it was a week ago tonight against Ottawa. He played well. But he allowed that bad goal in the third period late. And was Carolina going to win the game? I don't know. Probably not. But I like my chances with 6 minutes to go down a goal than I do down 2 goals. And there was no drop-off tonight. And maybe, I know we're always looking for, maybe this is the moment where it clicks. It happened against Ottawa last year, December 12th in Ottawa. He was spectacular in that game. The game against Detroit 2 nights later was arguably better because it wasn't spectacular. It was just steady. And from that point on, man, he was great. They need that from Kochetkov, and they're going to need it in this little run of games here. So before I get to the run of games, whatever happened, whether it was Dustin Tokarski playing the way he played Sunday against Columbus in a 4-1 win, which was super solid, or he just felt the rhythm of the game and the Islanders threw enough rubber at him, including a bunch of great chances, to just get him into a groove. It just looked like number one goaltender material tonight. Doesn't mean the Hurricanes don't need to add another goalie, right? And personally, I think they need the same goalie that they did even when Kochetkov was struggling, because we know he's capable of playing well. I still think they need a guy who can play at the NHL level. Not Dustin Tokarski, not Spencer Martin. Those are emergencies. You need a bona fide number 2 goalie in the NHL. I don't know where you're going to go get him. I'm just saying that's what they need. Still, that does not change. But at least Kochetkov can take this performance, marinate on it for 2 days, and we'll see you in Washington with him in net. So now here's the run of games. Washington on Friday in D.C. Hurricanes went into play tonight, I think 5 points back. Let me see. I assume that game went final. Yes. Blackhawks finished off the Caps 3-2. Chicago scoring 2 goals late on in the third period to rally. Capitals, I think, have lost 2 in a row. So that's a 3-point gap. There are no games in hand. Carolina and Washington have each played 31 games. Canes are now 20-10-1. Devils won. Devils stay ahead, but Carolina's got 3 games in hand on New Jersey. But Carolina goes to Washington on Friday. Then Sunday, they're in New York to take on the Rangers. Rangers lost again tonight. Rangers have now lost 11 of their last 14 games. They are 500. Not a playoff team. Shocking. Shocking what has happened to the Rangers. But no mercy. Got to go up there and win a hockey game. You go from D.C. Friday to Washington, to New York on Sunday, go right around and go to Nashville. If you were making a list of the most disappointing teams in the NHL based on expectations, Nashville would be the first, second, and third. No, the Rangers would be there too. Rangers and Nashville would both be on that short list. Nashville's many games under 500. But we know they're good, just like we know the Rangers are good. So those 3 road games, Friday in D.C., Sunday in New York, Monday in Nashville before Christmas. Kochetkov's going to play 2 of them. He'll play, my guess is he'll play on Friday and Sunday, and we'll see Dustin Tokarski on Monday against the Predators. It's the other conference, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go with your best guy against the Rangers. Plus, Kochetkov has, air quotes here, knock on wood, good history against New York. And then you come out of the holiday break, and the Hurricanes, day of the game, fly up to New Jersey to take on the Devils. Remember the last time Carolina played the Devils beat them 4-2 at the Rock in Newark. You play the Devils on, was it Friday? Yes, you play Devils on Friday the 27th. You come right back here and play the Devils the next night. My guess is you'll see Kochetkov on the road the 27th, Tokarski here the 28th. So this run of games, I don't care that Nashville's one of the worst teams in terms of record in the West. I don't care that the Rangers have lost 11 of 14. This is a brutal run of games. 5 games between Friday and the following Saturday. 5 games in 8 days, 4 of them on the road, and you need tonight's version of Pyotr Kochetkov. 4 of the 5, he's going to play 3. You need tonight's version 3 times. All right, now get to a couple of other things. And I appreciate all of you joining in. I know we've got people from California who are here. Somebody is on I-85. I don't know if you're going north or south. I actually don't even know if you're still on I-85. Phoenix, Arizona. I was just there, Nathan. I was just in Phoenix. Lovely. It was really actually quite nice. Back from State Road, North Carolina. Chicago. Go Blackhawks. Go Wolves. Go Chicago. Let's see. We have Durham. We got all sorts of places. Duluth, Georgia. Huge in Duluth, Georgia. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Carolina, Nashville on Festivus. That's right. Well, hopefully we see feats of strength. We have seen feats of strength, and let's talk about that. feats of strength right now. That's what the Jordan Staal line is. It's funny to me, and maybe it's because the head coach never has any criticism for him, for them. But I think you have seen over the last several games why Rod Brindamore is loath to complain about anything that Jordan Staal might do wrong. First of all, he doesn't need to. Staal knows if he's made mistakes. But Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier, for the second consecutive game, absolutely dominated. It was start to finish thorough. I get the stars in the building. They're almost always done based on points. Aho got the third star. He had a goal and an assist. I thought Aho was really good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Gostisbehere got the second star. He had 2 assists. I thought Gostisbehere was really good. I considered them for a second. I thought Jordan Martinook was probably the best forward in the game. I thought Jordan Staal was the second best forward in the game. And I thought William Carrier was the third best forward in the game. Kochetkov was the best player. So Kochetkov got my first star. Martinook got my second. Staal got my third. Every night. Every night. And I know it's maddening. And a lot of times they'll put Seth Jarvis on that line, or I know Andrei played on that line once, and he doesn't like it. And it annoys people. We're going to have to get over it. Because that line is a tone setter. It has possession. It creates chances. And then they go through runs where they score goals. And then you go, oh, okay, that's why. That's who our identity is as a hockey team, the way those 3 guys play. And Tripp talked about it on the broadcast, and he's talked about it with me. You want that line to stay together. Rod wants that line to stay together. And you're going on the road, so you need the other lines to jump in and to play that way. In Carolina earlier in the season, when they were going on these 8-game winning streaks, they were getting, for the most part, that type of play across the board. It's kind of gone away the last 2.5, 3 weeks. And not completely. It's just been sporadic. It certainly looked that way against Colorado, right? When Colorado came here, I mean, Carolina kicked their ass for 60 minutes in that game. And the Aho line started slow tonight. And I actually tweeted out, I don't even remember exactly when in the second period, that Aho line has just been ungood. And at that point, shots, just using 5-on-5 shots for and against, right? Not a shot attempt, shots on goal. It was 6-1 in favor of the line of Pajot, Andersley, and Matt Barzal. That was the matchup. The Aho line had that line. I tweeted that out. By the middle of the second period, it had drawn even, and the Aho line actually ended up dominating the game, statistically speaking. Now, the truth is that it was really only the last 25 minutes. But it was an impressive close to the game from probably Carolina's most important line, because Sebastian Aho is the best player, best forward. And he's got to start playing like it. Now, we've talked about this all year. We're sitting here complaining about Aho's not doing this, Aho's not doing this. He's no 5-on-5. He's got 33 points in 31 games, and he would tell you he hasn't played well yet. To his standard. He's played well for most other standards, but not for his. And now we're starting to I shouldn't say that, because he's got to do it again. He's got to do it Friday in D.C. Then he's got to do it in New York on Sunday, and then in Nashville on Monday. And then he can open up presents. By the way, on the Jumbotron, they had the old Sebastian Aho elf. Do you remember the elf on the shelf? Still one of the great bits ever that the Canes social media team did. My gosh, it's so good. But yeah, they put the old Aho elf on the Jumbotron. I was dying. Oh, by the way, also Ed Sheeran and who was it? Selena Gomez in the stands. Not really, but two people who kind of looked like them sitting together. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Kane's vision, very good. So you got that play out of Aho. That needs to be there. Aho and Jarvis are going to be fine together. I like Robinson there. I wouldn't hate to see, first of all, for right now, Andrei's going to stay with Kotkaniemi and Necas. But part of me thinks that Svechnikov with Aho and Jarvis is where we're going to end up as long as Andrei can just play the power forward role. Throw your body around, cause chaos. That's what I would like to see. All right. Two quick things before we have to jump out of here. And this goes back to the Staal line. I remember how many people, some members of the media, thought I was nuts. Going into the offseason, I said there are a few priorities for me in terms of who I thought Carolina needed to bring back. I had resigned myself to Pesce was gone, Skjei was gone, Teravainen was gone. Completely resigned myself to those facts. I think they made the decision to move on from Teravainen a year ago. I think they would have liked to have retained Pesce or Skjei more than Pesce. And here's why. Not that Pesce wasn't an awesome Hurricane. I believe, and I think they're probably right, but only time will tell. It's going to be very difficult for Brett Pesce's body to hold up. He's not a super fast skater. He's a good skater and a super smart player. But he's got bad shoulders. It's just going to be hard for his body to withstand another 5 years in the NHL. With that said, he's smart enough to be a really good player without necessarily having to be physical. The guy that they really wanted to re-sign was Skjei, and they were close, but $7 million a year from Nashville, which is, Brady Skjei has earned that. And you've got Nikishin coming. You've got Slavin signed long-term. Now you've got Gostisbehere on your third pair. And while Skjei could probably get away with playing his offside, and I think Nikishin often plays his offside in the KHL, it's not what the head coach likes. He doesn't want anybody to have to play their offside. And you're not going to have arguably your three best defenders all be lefties not playing together. So there were circumstances that took Brady Skjei out of the mix. But that's who they wanted to keep. But I had resigned myself to all three guys were gone. In my opinion, the three most important players to keep in free agency last year. One, Jordan Martinook. And people thought I was nuts. Oh, his body's going to break down, the score, blah, blah. Like, watch him. He is the culture. He is the heartbeat of this team. Every night, it looks the same. Every night. Yep, there are times where he doesn't score. When you go, how did you not score? It's Jordan Martinook. But by the end of the season, he'll have 15 goals. And he'll have between 25 and 30 points. And he'll play like that night in and night out. That's worth $3 million to me. The number two priority was Jalen Chatfield. And you're seeing somebody who's going to be a second pair right shot defenseman for at least this year and two more in a Hurricanes uniform. And we'll see where we are at the end of this contract. But man, is he good. They'd love to see Scott Morrow step into a role. They really need somebody to be a top pair right side defenseman, I guess I wouldn't be completely shocked if Chatfield ended up being in that role. But I think ideally they'll find somebody else. Be great if it's Morrow, but I don't think Morrow is quite that good. I think Morrow might be even a third pair defenseman, but he's part of your future and he's a right shot. Although you've got Sean Walker there right now. But Martinook tonight, 7 scoring chances, 3 of them high danger. By the way, that line combined for 9 high danger chances tonight. Yeah, they're pretty damn good. And Martinook was just all over the game, just all over it. And then real quick, I know Tyson Jost after the game talked about how tough it's been, kind of bouncing back and forth. He hasn't bounced that many times, but he spent the first 15 games in the minor leagues. Then Seth Jarvis got hurt, and Jost came up, and he scored in his first game against Vegas, by the way. And then he went back down after 7 games, and Jack Drury got hurt, and Jost comes back. Yeah, Jost is an NHL player. He's a, fourth line NHL player, but he's an NHL player. No doubt about that. But he had a good game tonight, a really good game. And the goal was impressive in that it showed really the hand-eye coordination that tons of guys have in the league, that most of us go, man, how did they do that? Bats it out of the air, right past Sorokin. That was the goal that made it 3-0. Middle of the second period. The Aho goal ended the game. But Tyson Jost has come up and been a useful player, a very useful player. So all in all, Carolina didn't have their best. I didn't think they had their best game, certainly not the first half of it. It changed. It flipped a little bit. They were much better the second half, but they weren't better than the Islanders through 30 minutes, but they led 3-0 at the time. It was like almost laughable. I remember times where Carolina would do that to teams and be down 3-0. But they got the performance out of Pyotr Kochetkov they needed to see. They got a 5-on-5 goal from Sebastian Aho, who, again, last 25 minutes or so, looked like the real Sebastian Aho. Now all everybody's got to do is go do it again, and then again, and then again. And then we'll wish everybody a Merry Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed the game. I trust you did. I trust you enjoyed the Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hannon and his crew do a great job. If it's for the exterior of your home, there you go. aluminumcompany.com. If you missed this version live, or you just want to hear it again and you don't want to see me during it, you don't have to look at it on YouTube. You always can. I'd like you to subscribe to it on YouTube, youtube.com/Canes Corner. We're here after every Hurricanes game. Well, almost every Hurricanes game. And it's also available in regular podcast form, wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Apple, I use that, Spotify, some people use that, Google Play, not really sure what that is, but I've heard of it. Wherever you get your podcast, like, rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, bring a drink. I don't know. We'll see everybody Friday after the Hurricanes take on the Capitals, and we'll get ready for the holiday together. Is that good? All right. We'll see everybody next time. Canes win at 4-0. Pyotr Kochetkov looked like a number 1 goalie. Yay. See everybody on Friday.